Hello, everybody, and welcome to this new episode of the MACE podcast. I'm your host, Marco Macente, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you. As you know, the MACE podcast is made up by unique and standalone episodes, and the one that we are doing here today is super standalone. Our stop is the Netherlands, and our special guest is Helen Monument. Helen inspires and encourages assistants to be the best they can be by sharing over 3 decades of experience as a management support professional. Helen has worked at international companies in many roles, from receptionist to secretary to office manager and business support team leader, so she understands the profession inside out. She is the chair of the World Administrator Alliance, a trade association representing admin associations, networks, and industry stakeholders across the globe. Its aims are to guide, influence, positively develop, and elevate the global admin community. At her company, Monumental Assistance, Helen provides training, coaching, and mentoring to assistants at all levels. She is passionate about giving back to the profession that created so many wonderful opportunities for her to grow and develop by paying it forward all over the world by helping others to become monumental assistants. She is also a former executive chair of IMA. I had the pleasure to meet Helen in July in London when we were both attending Executive Live conference organized by the amazing Lucy Bracer. I'm sure that she will be providing us a lot of insights. Please enjoy our conversation. Hi, Helen. Good morning. Welcome to the MACE podcast. It's a pleasure to be here with you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much, Marco. Hello, and thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure to be here with you. So I already shared with the audience a little bit about your background, a little bit about your experience. But please, I would like to ask you my first question in order to start this interaction. So, Helen, you have more than 30 years of experience as an admin professional, and I saw you shining right now in all your activities and projects that you are involved in. I would like to share with our audience a couple of them. First of all, the World Alliance. You are now serving as a chair of this amazing global association. Can you please share with us your role, the purpose of the association, and the journey that you have made so far?
Yes, I'd love to. Well, the World Administrators Alliance, as we are known, how did it start? I was invited to take up the role of interim chair of the Alliance by F. Lloyd from New Zealand, who had been the chair of the Advisory Council of the World Administrators Summit for many, many years. Now, she wanted to retire, and so she approached me. I was a little bit apprehensive at first because she's just an icon in our industry.
Yeah.
And she's done such terrific work for the summit for so many years. But I normally say yes to great opportunities, but I really did have a good think about this one. And I finally said yes, I would. And I took up the post because it really gave me an opportunity to give something back to the profession, which I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
So the Alliance came about from the summit, the World Administrators Summit in 2015. And the delegates decided that what was needed was a governance model that would provide sustainability, succession, and leadership for the future. So a task force got together and we formed the World Administrators Alliance. So we are a non-profit trade association, and we represent administrative professional associations and networks and industry stakeholders and individuals in countries where there is no association. So our aims are to bring together the leaders of those associations around the world, a bit like the G7, Yeah, we will build a global community for them to collaborate with us to meet our aims, which is to speak with one voice, to guide, develop, influence, and elevate the administrative profession. So I didn't do it alone. Obviously, we have the interim council members, and I worked for 12 months to set it up. Everything had to be done from scratch: the governance, the processes, the procedures, membership processes and payment, communication channels, the website.
Yeah.
It was a big job. And we needed a year to do it because we're all volunteers. So we opened for membership in May 2021 and had our first AGM in September last year, where the council was elected then formally by the members for the next 2 years. So now we have 39 members in 20 countries, and we're growing all the time.
Absolutely. So I'm really passionate about this, and I saw you shining in your words. So I'm very proud that you are covering such an important role in the Alliance. First of all, I wanted to highlight here a couple of things in order to let our audience understand the importance of the Alliance. First of all, it is an international alliance because we understood that there are 20 countries that are involved in this big association. Italy is one of them. Yes, I know that. And absolutely, we are able also to bring different perspectives, different insights, and also different opinions about what is the admin professional about, right? Because you know that each country has its own perception about the role. So having an alliance, it enables us to get together and to understand what is the best for the admin profession and what it takes to develop and to elevate the role in the best possible way. So as a chair, you definitely have seen all the journey that started with the summit, and now you are taking over the position from F, and you mentioned that. So it's amazing to see how we are developing and how the Alliance is playing a pivotal role in the development of the role. So thanks a lot for sharing those insights, Helen. So let's go ahead because I have another question for you. Speaking about the World Alliance, it deserves a special focus, the campaign we have to raise the awareness of the admin profession. Here the hashtag, the career behind the job. Can you please share with us how do you envision in this campaign the purpose and the perspective of the admin role itself?
Well, we know from our summit research that 73% of administrative professionals feel that their organizations don't understand their role, which is shocking.
Yeah.
And 58% feel underutilized and probably underappreciated. Now, we hear this need for recognition all the time. We hear assistants say they feel invisible and we're not noticed and nobody understands what our job entails. So we feel that it's up to us inside the profession to change this because nobody else is going to do it for us. So we need to come out of the shadows and start talking about this amazing profession. We need to show our companies what we are capable of, the value that we bring to them. Yeah. And we need to get rid of any false modesty. We have a lot of time, people will say, I've heard assistants say, oh, they don't know what I do, they don't understand my role. And I said, well, do you talk about it? Do you tell people what you do? Oh no, I'm just happy to stay in the background and I'm just doing my job. I hate that word.
Yeah, me too.
It's a team effort, and this is what I'm here for. Let's stop that. Let's stop that because you can't have it both ways. You can't be in the background and then complain that you're invisible. So this campaign came out after recommendations from the delegates at the summit. There was a paper presented at the 10th summit called The Identity and Image of Administrative Professionals. So this paper is a global guideline for enhancing the profession. It was an amazing piece of work. And it's full of great ideas and suggestions for not just for associations, but for individuals as well, to help them to enhance the image of the profession and the role that they do. So it also formed the basis of one of the discussion groups at the previous summit in 2021. And the Future of the Profession group produced another paper on the issue. And one of the recommendations was, how can we influence perceptions of the role inside and outside? So the recommendation was that the Alliance launch an awareness campaign, which we did in May 22, as you say, hashtag the career behind the job. And our aim was to lead the conversation and influence the positioning and the evolution of the profession by creating a realistic understanding of this unique role. So the aims of the campaign are to elevate the perception of the role in order to get the acknowledgement that it deserves.
Yeah, it deserves, absolutely.
Yes, to promote the profession as a career of choice by inspiring the younger generation to understand the lifelong personal and professional growth that the role gives. We also, phase 2 of this campaign, which is coming up, will be influencing stakeholders, such as, because we all know people, those of us who work or have worked as an assistant understand what the role is all about. But HR executives, recruiters and trainers, they also need to understand the diversity and the scope and the value and the impact of this unique role. And we also want to stimulate the associations out there to take a collective responsibility for a proactive and a long-term approach to positive influencing perceptions of the career. So we have been doing that on social media with videos and webinars, and we'll be discussing it again at the 12th summit that will be held in October this year. So we're hoping that assistants everywhere will join us in this campaign by engaging with their association, sharing our messages, contributing to the conversation, even starting their own discussion groups within the associations or in their networks and during their business activities, because there's never been a better time to focus on the value that administrative professionals bring to employers, to highlight and recognize the range of roles, the depth of expertise, the high degree of responsibility, accountability, influence, and autonomy that are exercised within this amazing career of ours.
Yes, so it's amazing. Thanks a lot for sharing such a kind of positive and amazing thoughts, Helen, with all of us. So a couple of takeaways I would like to highlight here also for our audience. First, the word just should be not even mentioned, right? Because I agree with you. I'm just an admin. I'm just an assistant. The word just needs to disappear completely, because we see this not just as a job, but as a profession, right? With a career path. And I will be asking you something later on about this aspect. Let's focus right now on what you mentioned about this campaign. So we have different phases. We have a project, let's say, in place that is guiding us into the change that we want to see in our profession, right? In the perception that is going to change, in the communication that we want to make with our stakeholders in all the industries across different companies around the globe. So definitely this is a project in the project, I would say, and it's an amazing work that you and the Alliance are doing in order to elevate the role and to bring something to the table that actually is very precious and value for us and for the profession. So thanks a lot for all the amazing work that you are doing, and it's a pleasure to share this also with our audience. So let's go ahead, because I have another question for you, Helen. Now, another amazing project that has recently been completed is the Global Skill Matrix. This global document is an important achievement for the profession, giving the possibility to give metrics and common grounds around the profession. It is not one size fits all, we know it, but can you please share with us the journey that the Global Skill Matrix had and what is it all about?
Yes, well, you say it's a project that's been completed. It's really only just getting started.
Definitely.
And I think the Global Skills Matrix is the most important and groundbreaking document that's been produced in the 20 or so years that the summit has been going on. It was born really back in 2015 when the summit was held in Papua New Guinea, when the delegates decided what was needed was a career framework for our profession. Most professions have some kind of matrix or career framework, but we did not. So the research started. Always starts with research. So we collected data from about 3,000 administrative professionals from all around the world. We asked about their job titles, their tasks, their responsibilities, their skills, and how they saw the role. And a huge amount of data came back and was distilled by a task group. Eventually, a report was produced that contained the matrix. But a lot of work went into it. I mean, it took 6 years to produce this piece of work, partly because we're working with volunteers, so things take a little longer, but there was just so much data to be managed, and we wanted to get it right. We wanted to make sure that we did justice to the research that was done, and that we showed actually the reality of what's going on. So first of all, from that data, what came out, and you've probably heard this statistics before, but there are 160 job titles out there.
Yes.
160 different job titles for what we're doing. It's no wonder the world doesn't understand what it is that we do. So we feel that particularly now, there's never been a more important time for organizations to use their assistants to their full potential. Particularly COVID-19 has increased the need for management to be more agile and to operate at maximum capacity. So an assistant who has clear goals and objectives, combined with the opportunities for personal development and career progression, is a key component for achieving this. Now, as I said, 60% of the people we surveyed felt that they had little or no opportunity for career progression. 60%, that's astounding. And it was causing, as well, you have problems around the world, as I say, because of all the different job titles. Even in the same country, you have different job titles that mean one thing in one company and something completely different in another. So we decided what was needed was a framework for career progression globally. So what we found, that by the time the 2018 summit came around, that was in Frankfurt, there was a huge amount of work that had been done. But what it showed was that there was no way that we were going to be able to agree on standard job titles because they were so different. So what we did, we took all of that data with the thousands of skills and tasks and distilled it into a manageable form and produced a matrix, a career framework with just 5 levels. What could be simpler? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It makes sense. Everybody can understand it. So whether you're in Italy or in Brazil or Australia, New Zealand or Papua New Guinea, and you say, I'm a level 3 assistant, everybody will understand what you mean. And the same thing was we had decided there was no point in trying to create a standard job description because everybody's was different, even if you work in the same organization. So we do include in our report suggested job titles and examples of roles, so you can put together your own job description. So what we have is, say, this is the global skills matrix. And basically, yes, there's a big report and an executive summary, but the matrix is just on 2 pages. So there's 1 page for tasks and 1 page for skills. And what could be easier? So we want people to take these 5 levels that we've come up with, starting from 1 is entry level, when you're just coming from school and basically you don't know anything about working in an office, and that's where you start to learn, up to level 5, which is chief of staff, which actually is not an assistant role. So we want very, very clear about what the chief of staff role meant, because we see that it's already being used to promote assistants because they just don't know what to do with them. So they say, let's call them chief of staff. But we wanted to clarify what the chief of staff role is all about. So you have level 1 to 5, and that's it. So the main report says, take the matrix, take these 5 levels, map what you have in your organization to it. And Lucy Brazier, who many of you will know, and I have been doing free webinars, and we're still doing them this year until September. So if you want a free webinar for your organization, you have to be quick and get it planned. We have done over 40 webinars so far in 16 different countries around the world. So they've been really, really successful. So we're still talking about it. This is only just the start. And we're speaking at conferences and we're telling people about it, but we need the profession to take this up and use it. It's a gift. It's free. It's a gift for you to use, and we need you to everybody out there to look at it and take it into their, and we'll help. We'll give lots of help and support for people who want to implement it.
Yes, definitely. So thanks a lot for giving us a little bit of summary of what is the Global Skill Matrix all about. I remember we met in London in July this year at the Executive Live Conference. I mentioned this in the introduction, and it was amazing to listen the discussion that you were doing with Lucy in order to present better at the conference, the Global Skill Matrix. And what I really love here is the approach, because we have understood that it is impossible to provide a unique and a standalone job description, because we have a variety of job description and tasks and responsibilities all around the world. So the approach that it was used is amazing, and I think can be a lesson learned also for many admin professionals when they needed to, approach something that is so variable and is so complex, because the reality is complex and we know it. And so the approach to use a global skill matrix in order to portray the metrics, the skills, and the tasks under 5 levels, I think this has been the best possible way in order to portray, in order to figure out how to manage such a kind of variety that we have in our profession. So this is an amazing job. I really want to say that. And another thing,
Just one other thing to say on that. It's the matrix is all about excellence. So it does show that there is a career progression. You move through the levels as you wish, but you don't have to. Some people are very happy staying where they are. They don't want to move up to have a more responsibility or take on bigger tasks. That's absolutely fine. But when you look at the matrix, it's all about excellence. So we help you to be the best you can be in the level that you're choosing to be at, and it shows you where you need to grow, what you need to learn, take the step to the next level if you choose to do so.
So this, we can say that this tool is empowering admin professionals to be the best that they can be. And this is amazing. And another thing that I wanted to focus here is another topic that you mentioned. This needs to be challenged and endorsed by admin professionals all around the world, because we need to envision in our profession the metrics and the importance of this document in order to be able to convey consistently the document to our stakeholders, to our managers, to HR department, and to everyone that is a decision maker in our industry. So definitely we need to endorse the document, we need to understand it in order to better convey and in order to better communicate the power of this document with our stakeholders. So definitely this is a very important thing that I wanted here to underline. Thanks a lot for providing such a kind of insights. So to wrap up, I already mentioned that we met in London at the amazing Executive Live Conference that has been organized by the amazing Lucy Brazier. So it was amazing to meet you, and amazing and to meet other colleagues that were joining us in the conference. I wanted to ask you, what's next for you? How are the next steps you are in, and what excites you mostly?
Well, I was just so happy to be in a room with people again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great to meet you in person as well, Marco, finally. I've seen you all over social media, but lovely to meet you there. And there was such a great vibe being together in one place again. It was wonderful. So I'm looking forward now to the World Administrators Summit, which will be on the 15th and the 22nd of October. It's going to be online again because of the COVID restrictions. It was too difficult to get everybody in one place. So we're not just open to Alliance members, of course. The summit is open to association representatives and individuals all around the world. Our last online summit we had 63 delegates from 23 countries, which was amazing. And collectively, they represented the voices of over 200,000 administrative professionals, which is brilliant. So we hope we can break that record this year. I'm looking forward to speaking further about the Global Skills Matrix. I'll be doing that here in my home country of the Netherlands this year. So, and I'm doing it in Dutch, which is, I do speak Dutch, but everything I do about the Global Skills Matrix is in English. So that's going to be a real challenge for me.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. And of course, personally, as a trainer and a coach, I'm looking forward to continuing to work with my clients, supporting them to be the very best that they can be.
Amazing. So thanks a lot, Helen, for sharing all those insights. I wish you all the best, because I look forward to meeting you again in the next conference, because I'm sure that now this new normal allows us to be in person in future conferences or congresses that are going to be organized. And so thanks a lot for providing those insights. I'm sure that our audience will treasure this episode, as I will. And I wish you all the best. I want to thank you again for your time, and I cannot wait to see you again in the future. Thanks a lot, Helen.
Thank you very much, Marco.